The 2018 Honda PCX125. Much like Honda's midsize Forza 125 got some love ahead of the 2018 model year with new body shapes paired with features that fans of the family will readily recognize. An all-new foundation supports the PCX125 from the wheels up through the suspension and frame, with ABS as the icing on the cake. A more powerful, 12-horsepower engine drives the 2018 model that targets that hotly contested, and all-important, entry-level market. Will it be enough to compete in this field? Let's dig right in and see how it stacks up against the most likely contenders. Continue reading for my review of the Honda PCX125. Design. The new PCX125 delivers a mature, business commuter junior look that should fit in nicely around town. Honda's little mini Forza has always had a bit of swank about it, with much of the same flow that graced the earlier PCX125 versions, but this year the Red Riders stepped up the swagger factor even more with new curves and contours. Dual, LED headlights split the wind at the entry of the front fairing with recessed turn signal housings at the upper shoulders. As clean as that is, it pales next to the mirror mount turn signals the factory used on the Forza, so there's definitely some room for improvement there. A shield-like design dominates the front end as it spreads upwards from the headlights to form a small, vented flyscreen that provides the rider with some protection, though certainly not as much as a proper windshield. Tucked in behind the flyscreen is the digital LCD instrument panel that comes braced by a handful of idiot lights and turn signal indicators to complete the package. The step-through is significantly obstructed by the tunnel that also obliterates the tween-feet storage space, but the under-seat storage area was boosted by 1 liter. That gives a total of 28 liters and will easily hold a full-face helmet. Plus, there's always the secondary cargo area, otherwise known as the pillion seat, that comes complete with grab rails that make a good place to hang your bungee net. At the inner fairing, a left-hand fairing pocket that can hold a water bottle or charge your electronics from the 12-volt adapter. Not sure I'd do both at the same time, though. The rearward lighting is pretty cool looking, I must confess, with stylish LED light bars to take care of business. Overall, the new PCX125 delivers a mature, business commuter junior look that should fit in nicely around campus, town. Chassis. The rebuild knocked weight off the skeleton for increased maneuverability and agility. The PCX's underbone-style chassis was on the receiving end of an extensive rework that saw a duplex cradle made of steel tubing members added as the foundation, with a weight-saving main fairing brace made of plastic to replace the older, heavier steel member. Overall, the rebuild knocked a total of 5.29 pounds off the weight of the skeleton for increased maneuverability, and the factory doubled down on the agility with a steering head angle of 27 degrees and 3.38 inches of trail over the 51.69-inch wheelbase. Both rims went to Fat Camp over the summer and weigh in a collective 18% less than last year, plus, they come with larger hoops with a 180th-14 up front and a 120/70th-14 out back. Come on guys, it's okay to go ahead and bump that on up to 16 inches, we all promised to act like it was your idea. Right way up front forks roll with 31mm inner fork tubes and 3.5 inches of travel, and out back, the dual coilover shocks were fitted with triple rate springs up from dual rate that give up 3.3 inches of travel. I'm a bit disappointed, if not surprised, to see a 130mm drum brake out back. They're fairly ubiquitous in the bottom displacement brackets, and with only 286 pounds wet to manage, it's undoubtedly sufficient for the task. Up front, a 220mm hydraulic disc takes care of business with a twin-pot caliper and ABS protection to keep the front end from breaking loose when you grab a fistful of brake lever. Drivetrain. The CVT gearbox delivers the same holeshot performance with stronger mid to top-end acceleration, making it safer and more comfortable to hit city traffic. The factory managed to make the mill put out more top end without the usual trade-off of a diminished bottom end. Part of this gain comes from the enlarged 26mm throttle body and free-flowing exhaust that lets the engine breathe more freely, and it pays off to the tune of 12 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute with 8.7 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 revolutions per minute. The liquid-cooled thumper runs a 52.4 mm bore and 57.9 mm stroke with an 11:1 compression ratio for a total displacement of 125 cc, but it's the cylinder construction that is the real item of interest here. A spiny sleeve binds more completely than ever before with the aluminum jug, a feature that helps to stabilize cylinder shape in order to cut down on blow-by gases and improve emissions. While the PCX doesn't enjoy the torque control feature of its big brother, it does come with a fuel-saving feature that is also quite environmentally friendly, the selectable idling stop system that turns the engine off after 3 seconds at idle. You can turn the system off, and it will also turn itself off when low battery voltage is detected for a bit of a failsafe so you don't run the battery down too far. A decompression mechanism helps on that front by allowing the engine to spool up without having to fight the compression. To deal with the waste heat from the greater output, the factory enlarged the shroud and reduced the size of the fan for more efficient cooling. Twist-and-go operation comes courtesy of the CVT gearbox that delivers the same holeshot performance with stronger mid to top-end acceleration to make it safer and more comfortable to hit city traffic. Pricing. The new PCX150 runs $3,700 without ABS and $4,000 with it, so I'd guess a little less than that for the 125. I haven't seen MSRP as of this writing and I doubt it will come to the US market anyway. The new PCX150 runs $3,700 without ABS and $4,000 with it, so I'd guess a little less than that, comparatively speaking considering the currency exchange. Competitors. Yamaha brings front and rear ABS, but the real show stealer here is the traction control, which Honda can't touch. When it comes to bottom-tier commuters with a mature finish, it's hard to go wrong with Yamaha's X-Max 125. A sportbike-like fairing leads the way with an adjustable windshield to protect the pilot, and generous legguards form protective pockets for feet and legs, just what you need for a comfortable commute. Gotta say, the Yamaha is actually cooler looking than the Honda, by several degrees in my estimation. Suspension is typically vanilla across the board, but Yamaha runs a rear disc brake against Honda's drum, so the ABS feature applies at both ends of the scoot for greater safety and a more modern ride. Wheel size is also superior on the X-Max with a 15-inch front wheel versus the 14s on the PCX. Yamaha runs with a 124cc, water-cooled thumper that puts out a couple more ponies with 14 of them at 8,750 revolutions per minute, but the real show stealer here is the traction control. That's right folks, traction control on a 124cc scooter. This feature couples with the double ABS for stability control both coming and going, and that makes for a very safe first ride for someone. Like the PCX, price is still TBA. He said. Ya know, the PCX is a good-looking ride, and sufficient for service as a commuter or trainer bike, but after seeing the traction control on the tuning fork bike, I wonder if looks alone are enough to compete against that. I mean seriously, the battle for the bottom just took an interesting turn. She said. My wife and fellow motorcycle rider, Alan Hinton, says, the updates for this year are quite nice. I still wouldn't take it on the interstate, the highways might be doable speed-wise, but the scooter really is a bit small to be in that kind of traffic, emo. Specifications. References. Yamaha X-Max. See our review of the Yamaha X-Max. Honda Forza. See our review of the Honda Forza. Honda PCX150. See our review of the Honda PCX150.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.